is Jason JROCK Houston. You guys are listening to an interview being done tonight for Chaotic Riffs magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com. It's my great pleasure to be speaking with lead singer Gabriel Garcia from a band Black Tide, and you guys are based out of Miami, Florida. Is that correct, Gabriel?
Yes, sir. All the way down south, man, Miami, Florida.
So now, are you born and raised in Miami?
Yeah, my family is originally from Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
Central America, but I was born here in Miami and raised here as well.
Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting. Now, reason I asked that, I was kind of curious. Do they have much of a metal scene or a rock scene even down there in Miami, where you guys are from?
No, man, it's horrible. You know, we don't even have. I mean, I think we just recently got a new rock station, but before then, I think we went like almost 10 years without a rock station here in Miami. So not much of a scene at all. So, how many years has the band actually been together? I mean, when did you guys first form? You know, well, we formed around 2003, 2004, and then we got signed to Interscope Records in 2006, and then from there it was, you know, is when we really started doing stuff, touring and making records and whatnot. And so, have you guys had a chance since then? I'd imagine you played out more than just in, you know, the Florida area. Have you had a chance to like go all across the U.S.? Oh, absolutely, man. We've had a crazy touring experience. You know, toured all of Europe multiple times.
Oh, wow.
Australia, Japan, you know, South America somewhat, and
so
the U.S. and Canada.
Wow. So going back in time, you know, when you guys, you know, toured outside of, you know, your home country, the United States here for the first time, what was that like? I mean, you know, touring Europe for the first time, or even South America, that must have been an amazing experience.
Man, it was insane. You know, when we first went over to Europe, we had our song off of our first record. It's called Shout.
Yeah.
And it was doing really well on the radio out there in the UK, especially. And we flew in to the UK, and we got off the plane, and there was fans waiting outside the airplane. You know, it was insane. And we were out there on tour with the Avenged Sevenfold. So it was just a really cool experience to get out of the country, play shows out there, just to see that you had fans and people singing your songs was insane. You know, it was crazy, really crazy feeling.
Yeah, and now let me ask you, as far as the other guys in the band, are these guys that you grew up with, or did you meet them over the years, you know, playing the same music scene?
Well, you know, when we first started, I started bands with my older brother.
Okay.
Since I was 8 years old, we started forming groups and whatnot, and so I was always kind of just a younger kid, and it was always my older brother's friends that were part of our bands. So that was really the case with Black Tide as well. You know, it was just my brother's friends, and we got together and started jamming, and it's kind of how it came about.
It sounds like, you know, you and your brother get along pretty well, but was that ever a concern? Like, I know a lot of brothers that have played with each other, and it typically goes one of two ways. They end up usually either loving one another or hating one another.
Yeah, man, we kind of went that second route. You know, I mean, I love him to death, you know.
Yeah.
He left the band early on, I think in 2000, when we were getting signed, 2006. But, you know, we do a lot of work together now. He actually just finished shooting our music video. He does photography and videography now, so
okay.
He just did our latest music video for this new record, Chasing Shadows.
Wow. And now you mentioned that previously you were signed with Interscope Records, so I was kind of curious, when you guys were first getting the band going and you got that deal, how did you get that first record deal? Was it a matter of them coming to you? Had they gone out and checked the band out live, or had you sent them your demo tape?
Well, you know, man, it's been an incredible journey for us, man. Everything happened so fast. We started playing in 2004 as you know, the group that we kind of are now. You know, we lost a few members here and there, and we had a different name in 2004. We were called Radio, but we started playing shows here down in Miami. We would do like Battle of the Bands, you know, and just cool local spots. But what really got us going, and what really caught the eye and the attention of, you know, the industry, the music industry, was we played this festival called Florida Music Festival, FMF. You know, and there was just a ton of people there from record labels, from different publishing companies, and from there it was just kind of a crazy ride, man. We started getting hit up from different record labels. I think we showcased for almost 8 different labels before ending up in signing with Interscope.
And what made you finally decide to go with Interscope? Did they just have the best overall deal that anybody was offering you guys?
What it was, Nick, to be honest, is just how quick they were about it. You know, because everybody else, I mean, in retrospect, you can. I think back sometimes and wonder if it was the right choice, But
yeah.
It's just it was really exciting how quick they were about. They're getting us out there to California and showcasing for Jimmy Iovine and getting us in the studio to do demos and whatnot. So they were really fast about everything. But Capitol, they had a really good pitch. The guys over at Sony, they had a really good pitch for us. They took us out to see. I remember, when they're trying to sign you, everybody's kind of trying to sell you on the lifestyle,
Yeah. And
so Sony took us out to see Judas Priest, and it was just a bunch of crazy stuff, man. That period was a really cool time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's almost like, a sports agent coming out trying to, get the best players on their team. They offer you all kinds of.
Exactly right. Just like that, man.
Wow. And so, the thing about Interscope Records, too, is, even though you're no longer with them, I mean, looking back, like you said, that's the label that got you guys your start. So, I mean, we might not be sitting here talking about Black Tide had Interscope Records never came to the table with, and offered you guys a deal.
Oh, absolutely, for sure, man.
Yeah, and so now let me ask you, going back in time, of course, you're telling me that you played in several bands, and, this is your first big opportunity. So, what was that like, going from playing all these local shows, Gabriel, to having a chance to, get in a professional recording studio for the first time and laying down your own songs you've written with your own band? That had to be a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what it was? It was more surreal than anything else. I was 13. I was 13 years old when we got in and finally signed with Interscope and got into the studio to make Light from Above, our first record. And honestly, it was so surreal, man. It's something I always wanted. As soon as I picked up the guitar when I was 7, 8 years old, it's all I ever wanted. Was to be a musician and to play shows and record albums. So
wow.
It was all just kind of happening, and I think. I still think to this day, man, it's just like something about being a kid and having that positivity and it's just sort of, it was a law of attraction for me, man. As far as my career, it's always been like the more positive I am, it seems the more success comes my way, and I'm trying to get some of that back, some of that youth back and some of that positivity back.
And now let me ask you, like you're telling me that you started out playing the guitar, so I imagine kind of that you were a guitar player first and kind of fell into singing accidentally, in the sense that you were maybe the guy with the best sounding voice in the band?
That's exactly right, man. That's what happened. We tried to find singers, and we tried. We were going for sort of an old school sound. Like we would listen to Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden and Metallica and things like that. We just couldn't find anybody who could sing that way. And I was the youngest, and I kind of had it got through puberty and whatnot. So my voice was up there, and I was the only one who could hit the notes you kind of wanted to go for.
Now, did you have any reservations about, becoming the singer? I mean, being the fact that you were a guitar player. I mean, like, how long did it take? Because I know even people, do news interviews and stuff. It takes them a while to get used to the sound of their voice and stuff. So, did that take a while for you to get used to? Hearing how you sounded.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. And the crazy part is that I got used to it early on. I started singing in when I was 11. Got used to my voice, but once I hit 13, it was like a whole new journey. I had to relearn my voice and start feeling comfortable again. But yeah, you know what, man? Like, I was kind of sometimes I'd be upset about the fact that I just wanted to play guitar and I was on stage and I had to do all this. Like, I had to sing and I can't focus on just like riffing, and like really playing my solos. So yeah, absolutely. I would always think about that, man. I'm like, I just want to play guitar, man. Like, that's all I started out doing. That's my favorite thing. Listening to Megadeth and guys like Marty Friedman, man. I just wanted to rock out on the guitar. But I definitely fell in love with vocals and singing there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing you bring up Megadeth because I've heard Mustaine talk over the years about the fact that he had kind of the same experience. When he was let go from Metallica. He wanted to get another guy to sing the lead for Megadeth, but he just could not find the right guy, the guy that had the sound that he was looking for. And he said, I kind of fell into becoming a lead singer accidentally. And I mean, if that never would have taken place, we never would have had all those great Megadeth albums. I mean, that guy is just, a great singer as much as he is a guitar player. So, I mean, things happen, for a reason, Gabriel. And and on that note, I got to think that maybe you were meant to be the singer for this band because being that you're the guy that writes the songs, maybe if you'd had another guy singing your songs, you'd be a little more critical of the singer, because when you're singing songs that you write, you're more closer to it than some guy just singing the words you write, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true, man. And that's cool. I didn't really know that about Megadeth, and that's just crazy, man, how things happen that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
And so who are some of the bands that you are kind of listening to these days, as far as do you listen to a lot of stuff you grew up on, or a lot of new stuff?
Yeah, well, for this record that we're releasing next month, I kind of try to turn back time for me, and I try to start listening to the bands again, like Megadeth, like we just mentioned, Metallica, and Maiden, and even Pantera, just things that would really get me going. And as far as guitar playing, man, because that's one thing that, kind of set us apart early on. And I sort of lost that over the years, just being on tour. Funny enough, you think you play more guitar, but you really don't.
Yeah.
There's so many times where, you're just busy doing whatever it is that's not playing music. So I kind of lost, some of my chops. And so for the last year, while we were recording this and writing this record, and then I kind of felt like almost like a boxer in training before a fight, man. I was just, playing guitar nonstop and really listening to some of those old school Megadeth albums and whatever I could get my hands on, and trying to just practice for this record, man. And so we really, focused on that for this album, Chasing Shadows.
Well, it's kind of interesting, that you say, because I know when you're, in the recording studios, it's one thing that you can lay down the vocals and the guitar separately, but like when you're doing a lot of guys have told me that it's very hard to be the lead singer and play guitar at the same time. You got to have a lot of, a lot of concentration. It takes a lot of, you'll be very attentive to what you're doing. So did that in itself take you a while to get used to?
Oh, for sure, man. It's still to this day, it just takes so much more, I think, practice for me to be able to execute the songs live, because like you said, it's one thing to track it, guitar and vocal separate, but then you kind of like shot yourself in the foot, if you made a really cool record, because you have to be able to pull it off, playing it and singing it live. So there's definitely a ton of rehearsal that goes into it.
And I would love to ask guys when I'm interviewing them, like Black Tide, as far as your band, that's a great sounding name. How did you guys come up with that?
Well, we were called Radio right before we got signed to Interscope. It was just kind of a hard thing for them to market, and so we kind of started going back and forth between names. We came up with a million. Man, there's so many different names. Well, Black Tide came about, because we were all skateboarders early on. We were all so little in when we got signed, so we were all skateboarders, and we were thinking like different things about skateboarding. A lot of the names that we came up with were about skateboarding. Wow. Black Tide for us was like surfers, blue tide, they got the ocean and their surf.
Oh,
and
wow.
We had our black tide, the asphalt,
Oh, that's cool. That's really original. I know. So are you guys, of course, are very busy with the band, I know, but are you still doing your skateboarding thing, on your downtime?
Yeah, a little bit, man. We're scared to break our wrists and our ankles now.
Yeah.
But we definitely burn boards on the road, we have a little bit of fun out there.
Wow. And so now, like you said, you have this new album coming out on October 16 called Chasing Shadows. Now, I was asking, is this your guys' second album, or have you put out a couple more than that?
This is actually our third album.
Okay.
We released Light From Above in 2007, I think, and then Postmortem in 2011. And that, it did really well for us, but it was a different sort of crowd, and we did different tours and whatnot. And then we released a couple EPs, but ones we kind of frowned upon. Like we just kind of released them for the fans. But we didn't put in all the focus and the necessary time it takes to really put out material. So this album, Chasing Shadows, man, is really the first thing we've released since 2011 that we've sat there and we worked so hard on it and put everything into it. So I'm excited about it.
And let me ask you, who would you say is a Black Tide fan base? And what I mean by that is because typically when you listen to a band for the first time, like I gotta be honest, the only thing I've heard from you guys is the latest single, which is I think it's called Angel in the Dark, and it's a pretty great track. And the thing is, I try to think, okay, who do they sound like? And the best thing I tell people is from my own ears, I got to tell you, you got your own original sound going. I can't sit here and tell people it sounds like Metallica, it sounds like Guns N' Roses. I was trying to think about that, and so like nobody likes to put labels on their music, but I would definitely say people that are into metal or hard rock would dig what you guys are doing, or even alternative music. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, but you're absolutely right, man. And I appreciate, you saying it's original, man. That means a lot, But our first record, we kind of targeted those fans of, like, some old school stuff, kind of like what we were talking about, Maiden, and we really, fans seemed to connect with it. My voice is so high, man. I was 13, singing, blasting up there, those high notes. And then our second record, our fans are a little bit divided, but I think that's what's cool about this third album is, I really pushed myself to be able to get some of those notes again. Obviously, there's no way I'm ever going to be 13 and have that range, but what we tried to do was to kind of unite our fans again, the fans that were divided between our first record and our second album, Postmortem. I think with this third album, Chasing Shadows, man, all our fans are going to be able to like it. And of course, we're chasing down a bunch of new fans, and with touring and whatnot, and all the promotion we're going to do for this album, we're obviously trying to grow and trying to build.
Yeah, and of course, it's kind of also a way to reintroduce the band. People may have been around the first time around, or even may have forgotten that you guys were, even still around. So the next thing I like to you guys got a great little deal here with Pavement Entertainment, and that's amazing in itself. Here in 2015, because what's a record deal in 2015? A lot of bands don't even have it.
Yeah, man, it's crazy times for music, and we're definitely very lucky, and we feel privileged to be able to be working with these guys, and also our management, Rebellious Noise, who has Escape to Fate and Architects, and I'm feeling very lucky these days, man. Like you said, 2015, the music industry is insane, and it's really rough right now, so we're making the most of it.
I mean, the fact that, the fact that you guys even have a record deal with anybody, that says something to me right off the bat that, okay, these guys are doing something right, that, even a little indie label like Pavement Entertainment comes to the table, they must think you have something to offer, the people that they put the music out to,
Oh, for sure, man. I'm really excited about them and about releasing this album. I couldn't be more happy right now, man.
And I really think, for anybody who doesn't know the Pavement Entertainment story, it's a great little label for a simple fact that it's a label that's run by a guy who's an actual musician himself. So, we're talking about Tim King, the bass player from Soil. I mean, he's got his own band that he does. And on that note, he could have taken, he could have went and signed a bunch of bands just like Soil, a lot of hardcore metal bands. But if you look at the artist roster on Pavement Entertainment, they've got a little bit of everything, and there's no two bands on that label that sound just alike, and that's one of the things I really dig about the label. In fact, that you got a guy like Tim running the label, so he can sign new bands like you and say, I've kind of been where you guys, I've been there, done that. I can kind of advise you guys on what to do. But what has your experience with this label been so far?
Yeah, man, it's like you said, I go to Tim, a lot for advice, and then Mark Noir, he's the CEO, and they're just great. It's a really, it seems like a very family-oriented environment, man. I call those guys up, and it's just so different from anything I've ever dealt with in the industry. I couldn't do that when I was at Interscope. I mean, there's you would have to set up some conference calls and whatnot. Yeah. Now it's just more like, hey, let's talk in a little bit, and we can text and whatnot, email, like right on the spot, and it's just, it feels really good to have someone on your side, someone on your team that's really actually there for you in every aspect of it.
And I think what makes it even that much greater working with a label like this is, again, it's as opposed to working with a guy who has no experience as a musician himself, and just a guy that's sitting up there in an office in a suit and tie that maybe telling him, I don't hear a single, go back, write me something more commercial. I mean, a guy like Tim, he's been through what you guys, he knows what it's like to look for your first record deal. He knows what it's like to, maybe have to try to reestablish a band and get the band back out there. He knows what that is like. And as opposed to, like I said, you're just a typical A&R guy. Now, we don't hear nothing commercial. Go back and write us, more commercial stuff. That's what I dig about a label like this. They allow the bands to kind of do their own thing. They don't try to mold you into something you're not.
That's exactly right, man, and that's what's cool about this record. Like you just said, man, we did everything that we felt, and anything that we shot for, as far as like going back to our first couple albums, was all on us. It was all just a matter of really, figuring out that that's what makes us who we are, and that's what we love, and that's what made us fall in love with music. So that's what we're doing, bringing back the solos, bringing back the riff and vocals, man, and that's what Chasing Shadows is. And
so, now talk a little bit about the album title, Chasing Shadows. Is that like based on is that title from one of his songs, or is that just an overall theme?
Well, it's one of the songs, and what's funny about it, it's kind of, we're just kind of laughing at ourselves, for after all these years, and then after all the, just everything we've been through, the ups and downs, that we're still chasing this dream, and and that's what this album's really about. It's like, we know it, we know how hard this industry is, and we know that at this point we're almost chasing shadows, and we're just going to continue on fighting and making albums and making music together, man, because it's what we love to do.
And I hope you guys keep chasing the dream, and I'll tell you why, Gabriel, because again, like I told you, based on the one single I've heard so far, I dug that, so it kind of makes me want to hear the rest of the album. I want to go out and get it, October 16th, and I really encourage people, to do the same. At least give it a fair listen. I mean, I get CDs all the time sent to me, people wanting me to review a CD, and if I'm going to do that, I'm like, I don't just go listen to one or two tracks. I have to listen to the whole thing, because I want to, that's the only honest way to do it, and you get a feeling what the band's about. And I mean, are we getting 10 or 12 tracks that sound just alike, or are we getting a little different? So like, how many songs are we getting on the new album?
Well, we recorded almost 15, and they're fully mixed. Yeah, I think it actually is 15. We just have an intro on there, so I don't know if you would count one of those, but we did 15 songs, and the first one is going to be released next month. It only has 11 tracks, and so that's going to take its course, and then after a few months of that being out, I think the label, they wanted to sort of do a re-release of some bonus tracks.
Oh, cool.
And what happens as well nowadays is that you kind of release different versions of your CD to different music stores, so maybe in the UK it'll have one bonus track, or Japan it'll have two bonus tracks. But, the songs always end up making their way out there, and people will definitely hear it, on YouTube or wherever it may be that they ended up being posted, So it's going to be a total of about 14 songs and, the intro.
Yeah, I dig that, because, I'm one of these old school guys that, I don't know about you, but I grew up in the day where, I love to go buy all the new CDs and stuff, and I still love to have a physical CD in my hand and, look at the artwork and the liner notes and all that stuff, and, everybody's into, technology, and whereas I just want to download the latest song. I don't want the whole album. I love what you're just saying. We recorded 15 tracks. I would love to get a new album, new CD with 15 new tracks, even 10 new tracks. A lot of bands, they just go and record 5 or 6 songs, and they kind of give you that, and they release another 6 songs a couple months down the line. But I kind of love that attitude that you guys have. It, no, we're giving you a full length album. We're not just going to give you a 6-song AP. Because that way I kind of feel, okay, I'm getting my money's worth. I'm getting a CD full of 10 or 11 tracks. That's kind of what I grew up on, and I just love that stuff. And so now on that note, I got to ask, the first single is Angel in the Dark. Why did you guys pick that song as the first single?
Well, I think the goal with this first single wasn't to reach, we weren't like, okay, we're going to take this to every FM radio station.
Yeah.
That wasn't the goal. What we wanted to do with it was really sort of establish the sound of the record and say, hey guys, this is what we're shooting for. We're bringing back some of the stuff that made us fall in love with music. Yeah. And so this one is just really one for the fans of metal, man, and fans of guitar playing, and just the metal dudes out there, man. This one's for them, and so that was sort of the focus for this first single. Okay,
cool. I think it definitely accomplishes that. Now, any chance you guys might be shooting any music videos? I know a lot of bands don't do that these days, but but it's still a popular thing, and if you got the right track, I think it could work.
Absolutely, man. We actually just finished shooting last weekend. We went out there. we were here actually in Miami, Florida, and we found this crazy, crazy location that we just had to shoot at. If people actually go on our Facebook, Facebook/Black Tide,
okay.
We posted some pictures of the location, man. It's crazy. It's just all graffiti and there's like abandoned cars, and we had a really amazing time doing it. And like I said, my brother shot it with
oh, okay, yeah.
company. And so it was just insane, man. We had the Red Dragon, that camera that shot the Lord of the Rings. The quality,
cool,
insane.
Cool. Wow.
I'm really excited about it.
And so, once the album drops October 16th, what are the plans as far as touring? You kind of gonna wait and see like how people, what the response to the album is, or are you already putting plans in motion for a tour?
Well, we're gonna go out there and get our feet wet next month. Starting, I think the tour kicks off October 14th.
Yeah.
But this one's just a run with it's us and a band called Exotype. I think they're on Rise Records.
Okay.
And so it's gonna be just kind of like a feel for getting back on the road and really practicing our set and coming together on stage again. But as it's next year, early next year, January and everything, our management and our agency's got some really great plans that they're working on. There's nothing that's actually like set in stone, but we're gonna be touring a ton and really getting back to the level of touring we were doing, when we were touring in 2011 and 2009 and whatnot.
Wow, cool. Now, as far as the older albums, I was curious, like, once a new album drops, and if you get a really great response, any chance those older albums will maybe be re-released?
We actually thought about that, man. We were thinking about, maybe remastering, or maybe even redoing a couple of the songs and throwing them on a remastered, album. So
yeah, I was going to ask you that, because you were bringing up the fact earlier that on some of those earlier albums that, you were kind of relatively young and going through, your vocal changes and that. Would you rather keep those albums you had the choice, like, just as they were recorded, or would you like to go in and kind of re-record them and bring them up to date, how you think they should sound?
Yeah, that would be a hell of an experience, man. It would be really cool, and we've given it a bunch of thought, Like I said, a lot of our fans, really love that first album. And so we had considered, doing a real redo of all of it with my voice up to date and sort of the band up to date. So
yeah, well,
considered a lot of things.
Well, of course, the new album's the main priority right now. But I really encourage you guys to kind of really give it some serious consideration, because I think it'd be a great idea for the simple fact, you're kind of reintroducing the band with the new album, and then it'll allow people to kind of get a taste of the stuff you guys have put out before, and kind of familiarize themselves, especially if people have never heard of a band before this new album.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as far as the songwriting, are you the principal songwriter in the band, Gabriel, being that you're the lead singer?
Yeah, from early on, it was a love of mine, man. It's something that I really, really enjoy doing, is sitting in my room and just writing songs, man. A lot of kids would like to go out and like play sports and whatnot. I just fell in love with playing the guitar and writing songs, man, writing poems and writing whatever I could down and making up cool riffs, and so yeah, from day one I've kind of been like the primary songwriter, but anytime that any of the guys come with me with a cool idea, I'll never shut it down,
of course. And now on that note, I got to ask you, as far as your songwriting itself goes, what's your typical technique? I mean, do most of the songs start out musically, like with a guitar riff or something, or do you typically write the lyrics first? What's your procedure for doing that?
Well, for this album, man, it was really the majority of the songs started off a guitar riff. Most of the songs on this record, like they'll start with a cool little sort of guitar riff that sets the song apart, and then from there, like I said, I'm always writing things on my phone, so I have like a ton of lyrics, man, just notepads and on my iPhone and whatnot. So lyrically, I kind of try to see what fits whatever guitar riff I was playing, and we kind of go from there, man. Me and my producer really worked hard on this record. As far as the songwriting, we would get in. I think we worked on this record maybe 8 months, something crazy like that. Obviously, we only recorded, really recorded it for about 3 months, but 8 months of just solid getting together and writing and making sure it was solid material.
Because we could be sitting here talking about any band, but to me, for any band to have any kind of really legs or success, you know, it's all about the songwriting. I mean, you know, if they're not really written, you know, properly, you're not going to go anywhere. I mean, you could have the best looking guys in the band, but if you don't have good songs, you're not going to get that far.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, man, 100%.
And so now, let me ask you, as far as your lyrical content, again, does a lot of your inspiration come from the music you create, or like do you ever like see a movie or something on TV or like a news story and kind of get an idea for a lyrical idea for a song?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I've been watching TV and just like something cool happens or a cool scene or cool. I mean, you see movies, something dumb, you know, but it'll really inspire something.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it can be anything that really kind of sets you off. But as far as this album, you know, it's mostly about just experiences from over the years, you know, being on tour and the ups and downs that we've been through, and a lot of them are kind of, you know, they touch at home, you know, and it's just you can really read into it and you can interpret it in your own way, but it's all very personal.
And you know, and talk about interpretation for a minute. I was curious, like you of course know what you wrote all these individual songs about, but you must also have a experience of having people come up and tell you, oh man, I just love that song, that song you wrote, or and they kind of think it was about one thing and you actually wrote about another thing. Do you much rather people kind of interpret your music for what they think it means, or for what it actually does mean?
Man, it's cool that you asked that, you know, because we've had some crazy stuff come up. You know, on our second album, we had a song that was a slower ballad. It was called Into the Sky. And I just had people come to me and say, you know, like, oh man, I had, you know, my father passed away in this song, man, it's really connected, you know, I like really hit it home. And I even heard somebody say, man, like when my grandmother passed, I'd play the song at her funeral, like crazy stuff.
Wow.
Like, it's insane how deep it can go and how it can really touch someone's heart, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be a great feeling, like in the sense that you wrote the song about one particular subject, but then other people listen to it and they get a totally different experience. And that's why I think a lot of times music really is a universal language. You can interpret however you want, however you wish to. It's almost like art. I mean, it is art, but that's what makes it so great that I can listen to a song you wrote and somebody else could listen to the same song, and we might both get a different experience out of it. But and again, it's not about right or wrong. It's just we have different life experiences, and I think that's what makes being a songwriter so great.
Oh, that's exactly right, man. Music is definitely such a huge part of life for me and for a lot of people, man. And that's what's amazing about it, for sure.
And now, like you're telling me earlier, that you started out just being a guitar player, but I'd imagine at this point in time in your career, but you've been singing, just as long. Being the lead singer, that's got to make you that much better of a songwriter when you go and write these songs now.
Oh man, it's such a different experience nowadays, because just as far as melodies even, you can really come up with so many different things in the years of singing. You're definitely right on that, just it helps you write, man, and it just makes sort of things a little bit easier, but it's still a little bit challenging coming up with melodies and really singing to a metal guitar riff, but it's so much fun, man. It's what I love to do.
And then, as far as the songs on this album, I was curious, are these songs that have all been written specifically for this album, or do you guys like have a vault somewhere where you have like unreleased, music that didn't make it onto other albums? Or we're going to go revisit this song idea and see if it fits what we're doing now?
A couple of the bonus songs, actually, there's one bonus song, it's called Where You Are, and it was a song that I think we had written in 2010.
Wow.
I was listening to old demos and things, and I was like, man, I gotta bring this one back. I know we never used it for Interscope, but now we can do whatever we want. We're like really with the label that supports us, and so we definitely brought some cool old riffs back and some lyrics here and there. That's
great, because just because it doesn't work, on in past doesn't mean it was a bad idea. I love stuff like that. I'm a huge Kiss fan myself, and I love any time I come across like a unreleased track that they put that somehow makes it out there on the internet or something. It's like, well, I can't believe they didn't put this song on an album. Why didn't they? But it's great when fans get a chance to discover stuff like that. And then kind of the last thing I wanted to ask you before I let you go, Gabriel, is as far as the overall recording of the album, did you guys do it the modern way where everybody kind of records their parts separately when you piece the whole thing together? Or were you guys actually, the band, in the same room together while you were recording this album?
I wish, man. I wish we did it that way. But we did it, the new way. Everybody checked separately. But what we did do, however, is, get in there as a band to really finalize the songwriting. So like me and my producer would write the songs, but then the guys would come in and we would make sure that we could execute it live, and that that it felt like a song that you would play live and that you would write together, just to make sure that it had the flow as necessary for this record.
And so, because again, back in the day, bands would go in the studio and everybody be in the same room recording. But now, when you do it the modern way, like we were discussing, what's it like when everything's been recorded and you get the tape back of the final mix or whatever, and you hear, okay, this is a finished product. I mean, that must be an amazing feeling. Wow, that's what we created.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. It's incredible, because even while you're recording, I mean, things just will never sound as good as when they're mixed and mastered. And so, really getting that final product, it's insane. It's like, man, we really put our time into this, and no matter what other people think, you're really proud of it, and it's just something amazing. It's an amazing feeling.
Well, let me just say, Gabriel, once again, I want to thank you for taking time to do this. It's been really pleasure talking to you, and I really hope people go and purchase the album when it drops October 16th. Again, it's called Chasing Shadows, and I so far just heard the one track, Angel in the Dark, but I really dug that, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the album is just as kick-ass. So this interview itself be going up in early October, and we can be found on the web at www.chaoticriffs.com. And please keep in touch, Gabriel, because once the album drops, I have a chance to hear the rest of the album. I'd like to kind of do a follow-up interview when you get some downtime and just talk more specifically about the new album, once I've got a chance to hear the whole thing and live with it.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I had a great time chatting as well, man. I can't wait to catch up again. Okay,
well, best of luck to you guys on the road, and if I don't talk to you before, have a nice holiday season and rest of the year, and we'll look for you out there on the road.
All right, man. You too, brother. Have a good night, man.
Hey, bye-bye.